Okay, so you want the inside scoop on Himadri Speciality Chemical Ltd, or HSCL, as everyone's calling them. You've handed me like a mountain of reports, press releases. Looks like they even had a board meeting today, January 13th, 2025.
That's right. They released their quarterly and 9-month financials today, plus some news about new subsidiaries.
And sustainable practices, battery tech. Don't worry, we'll sort through it all. By the end of this deep dive, you'll be an HSCL pro.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's start with the financials. Always a good place to begin. HSCL is reporting record EBITDA and PAT. Those are impressive numbers, especially for both the quarter and the 9 months ending December 31st, 2024.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that this isn't just a one-off spike. If you look at their standalone profit and loss statement, you'll see consistent growth.
Yeah.
Their revenue from operations for Q3 of the fiscal year 2025 is over 1,131 crore rupees.
That's a 7.53% jump year over year. I mean, that's healthy, but their EBITDA is really eye-catching, over 31% growth year over year to 222.34 crore rupees. What does EBITDA tell us anyway?
Well, it stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. It's a good way to gauge a company's operating profitability, basically how efficiently they're making money from their core business operations. And in HSCL's case, it's showing they're running a tight ship, making smart decisions. For the 9 months ending in December, their EBITDA reached 611.34 crore rupees, a whopping 34% increase. This kind of sustained, positive trend really points to the strength of their strategic initiatives.
And this financial strength gives them the fuel to make some pretty interesting moves, like incorporating these two new subsidiaries. That's a big deal, right?
Yes, it signals their intentions for expansion. One of the subsidiaries is in India, called Himadri Nanotech Specialty Ltd. It's a public limited company formed in partnership with Invadi Creations Private Limited. Now, this partnership is worth paying attention to. We'll circle back to Invadi Creations later because they play a significant role in HSCL's battery tech strategy.
Ooh, sounds intriguing. Okay, and the second subsidiary?
It's a wholly owned subsidiary in the USA called Himadri Specialty Inc. So they're planting their flag in the U.S. market. Clearly, they see potential for growth there.
Makes sense. I mean, with their financial performance, they're in a good position to make these bold moves. They've also been raising funds through a warrant allotment. Back in May 2024, they issued over 108 lakh warrants convertible into equity shares at a price of 316 rupees each.
That's right, a total issue size of 341.82 crore rupees. And if you look at their statement of deviation or variation in the use of proceeds, you'll see they've already utilized 86.85 crore rupees of that, mainly for capital expenditure, or CapEx as it's often called. Essentially, they're investing in their future growth.
And this CapEx is likely tied to their expansion plans, right? Maybe even those new subsidiaries we talked about.
It's all connected. This capital expenditure is mainly focused on expansion, whether it's through new projects, what we call greenfield, or expansion of existing units, known as brownfield. It aligns perfectly with their growth strategy, and those recent announcements about new subsidiaries and product lines, they're laying the groundwork for future success.
Speaking of success, they also bagged a pretty impressive award, the EcoVadis Platinum Medal. Now, this is more than just a pat on the back, right?
Absolutely, this is huge, especially in the chemical industry. EcoVadis is a globally recognized sustainability rating platform, and a platinum medal puts HSCL in the top 1% of companies assessed. It speaks volumes about their commitment to sustainability. It's a clear indication that they're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk.
I'm looking at some of their initiatives: zero liquid discharge from their plants, waste heat recovery systems, using renewable energy sources. They even have community development projects impacting over 20 villages.
It's a comprehensive approach to sustainability. And in today's world, consumers and investors really care about this. This isn't just good for the planet, it's good for business. This platinum medal is more than just a shiny accolade. It sets HSCL apart as a leader in their field and boosts their brand reputation.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about their battery technology initiatives, because they're making some serious moves here.
They are. And we're not just talking baby steps. They're going all in.
Well, they have that new PAPEX for high-value specialty products, like anthraquinone, carbazole, and fluorine, which are all used in battery technology.
Exactly. Those are smart moves into a rapidly growing market. But they're not stopping there. They've also acquired a 12.79% stake in Sakona.
Now, what is Sakona?
It's an Australian startup that's developing some really cutting-edge, high-capacity silicon anode technology for batteries. It's all about improving battery performance.
So HSCL is partnering with a company that's right at the forefront of battery tech innovation. That's clever.
It is. And this is where things get even more interesting. They've also acquired a 40% stake in Himadri Creations. Remember them from earlier.
Oh, right. The company they're partnering with for their new Indian subsidiary.
Exactly. Himadri is focused on lithium-ion electrode materials and nanotechnology, which are both crucial for battery development. This acquisition gives HSCL a direct link to cutting-edge R&D in the battery technology space. They're not just buying a product, they're investing in the future of battery technology.
It's like they're positioning themselves at every stage of the battery technology value chain, from raw materials to cutting-edge anode technology to the production of, oh wait, what is it? Lithium iron phosphate?
Yes, lithium iron phosphate, or LFP. It's a type of cathode material used in batteries. And HSCL is aiming to build India's first commercial plant for it, with a target production of a massive 200,000 MTPA. That's metric tons per annum.
Okay, and why is LFP such a big deal? I'm still catching up on all this battery terminology.
LFP batteries are known for their safety and long lifespan. They're a very stable chemistry compared to some other battery types. This makes them ideal for various applications, from electric vehicles to grid storage and even consumer electronics. HSCL is clearly betting big on the future of LFP technology.
Wow, so it's not just about specialty chemicals anymore. They're becoming a major player in the battery tech space. And they're doing all of this while maintaining their commitment to sustainability.
It's a fascinating strategy. They're not just aiming for profit, they're aiming for a greener, more sustainable future. And their recent platinum medal from EcoVadis proves they're serious about it.
But wait, there's one more piece to this puzzle. The acquisition of Birla Tires back in 2023. How does that fit into all of this?
That's where things get really strategic. Birla Tires was undergoing insolvency proceedings, and HSCL acquired them for 306 crore rupees. That might seem like a side note compared to all this battery tech stuff, but it's actually a brilliant move, especially when you consider their long-term goals.
Okay, now I'm really curious. Tell me more.
Well, building a similar facility from scratch would have cost them around 3,400 crore rupees and taken 3 years. They saved a ton of time and money with this acquisition. Plus, they got access to an established manufacturing infrastructure, a skilled workforce, and a brand with a history in the tire industry. They're thinking long-term and strategically.
All right, so we've got financial strength, global expansion, a commitment to sustainability, a foray into battery technology, and a strategic acquisition in the tire industry. Where do we go from here?
Now that we've laid the groundwork and you have a good grasp of the key players in HSCL's moves, we can start digging deeper into the why behind all of this.
You mean, what does it all mean? I'm in.
HSCL is clearly trying to, position itself as a leader, not just in specialty chemicals, but in the future of sustainable technologies.
Yeah.
Their financials tell us they have the muscle to do it.
Okay, so they've got money and ambition, but this battery tech market is fierce, right? How can they make sure they stay ahead of the curve? Everyone's trying to get a piece of this pie.
That's where their focus on innovation comes in. It's not enough to just have a good product. You need to be constantly evolving, especially in a field like battery technology that's changing so rapidly.
And they're not shy about investing in research and development. We talked about their acquisitions of Sikona and Himadri Creations. Those are strategic moves to get access to, like cutting-edge expertise and intellectual property.
Precisely. They're bringing in external innovation, but they're also nurturing it internally. Their investor presentation talks about developing their own technology for lithium concentrate extraction and conversion to lithium carbonate and lithium hydroxide.
So they're not just buying technology, they're building it too. It's like they want to control the whole process, from raw materials to finished product.
It's a smart strategy, gives them greater control over their supply chain, and allows them to adapt quickly to changes in the market. And then there's their next-gen R&D involving AI to enhance the performance of battery cathode materials.
Hold on, AI for batteries. What does that even look like?
Think of it as using artificial intelligence to optimize the materials used in batteries. They're trying to find new combinations, new structures, ways to make batteries more efficient, longer lasting, safer, all using AI.
Okay, that's like seriously cool. It sounds like they're pulling out all the stops to become a major player in this space. And they're thinking long-term, not just about next quarter's profits.
Exactly. And all of this ties back to that bigger picture we were talking about, HSCL's transformation. They're moving beyond their traditional specialty chemicals business and into a whole new era. But it's not just about technology, it's about sustainability too. They've woven this commitment into every aspect of their operations.
Right, the EcoVadis Platinum Medal was a big deal. But it's not just about awards, it's about real action.
They've set some very ambitious sustainability objectives for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
I'm looking at their investor presentation now. One of their goals is to achieve a lost time injury frequency rate below 1 by 2025.
That's a critical indicator of workplace safety. It's about protecting their employees, creating a safe working environment. It's also good. Business accidents and injuries cost time and money.
They're also targeting a 10% reduction in their energy intensity per metric ton of products sold.
That's significant. It shows they're serious about energy efficiency and reducing their carbon footprint. And it's not just about doing the right thing, it's about saving money too. Energy efficiency often goes hand in hand with cost savings.
And they're aiming to achieve a 25% reduction in their Scope 1 and Scope 2 CO2e emission intensity per metric ton of product sold by 2025.
That's a bold target. Scope 1 emissions are direct emissions from their own operations, like fuel combustion. Scope 2 covers indirect emissions from the energy they purchase, like electricity. By tackling both, they're really taking ownership of their environmental impact.
It's impressive. And on top of that, their commitment to zero liquid discharge from all their plants is a major achievement in an industry that often faces scrutiny for its environmental practices. They're really trying to minimize their impact.
They're not just reducing their negative impacts, they're actively trying to make a positive contribution. They're increasing the proportion of non-virgin raw materials they use, promoting gender diversity in their management team, and engaging in community development projects.
It's like they're ticking all the boxes: environmental, social, and governance.
They're taking a holistic approach to sustainability, which is exactly what stakeholders are demanding from companies today. They're setting a positive example for the chemical industry and beyond.
Okay, we've covered financials, expansion, battery tech, and sustainability. But we haven't talked about how their acquisitions, like Birla Tires, contribute to their overall financial performance.
You're right. We focused on HSCL's standalone numbers, which are impressive, but their consolidated results, which include their subsidiaries, paint an even broader picture. For Q3, their revenue from operations was 11,140.66 crore rupees, up 8.38% year-over-year. Their consolidated EBITDA reached 224.89 crore rupees, a remarkable 32.14% increase.
And their consolidated paid for Q3 was 141.15 crore rupees, a solid 29.76% increase compared to the same quarter last year. It's clear their subsidiaries are contributing positively to their overall financial health.
And that positive contribution is consistent. Their consolidated EBITDA for the 9 months ending in December 2024 was 615.73 crore rupees, up 34.87% year-over-year. And their consolidated PAT for the same 9-month period reached 399.63 crore rupees, a 35.24% jump compared to the previous year.
Those numbers are fantastic. It really does seem like HSCL is firing on all cylinders. They're executing their strategy effectively, expanding into new markets, and focusing on high-growth sectors like battery technology. All of these factors are fueling their strong financial performance. But let's go back to Birla Tires. We talked about how cost-effective the acquisition was, but how does it fit into their long-term strategy?
Well, remember, HSCL is a leading producer of carbon black.
Right, and carbon black is a crucial component in tire manufacturing.
Exactly. So by acquiring Birla Tires, they created a natural synergy between their existing operations and their new venture in the tire industry. They're not just entering a new market, they're vertically integrating.
So they're controlling a key part of their supply chain. That makes sense. They can potentially reduce costs, improve efficiency, and have more control over the quality of their products.
Precisely. But there's another layer to this strategy. The tire market, especially the segment for electric vehicle tires, is experiencing rapid growth, and HSCL is aiming to be a key player in that space.
That's clever. With the global shift towards electric mobility, that's a very smart move. They're positioning themselves at the forefront of a major technological shift in the automotive industry.
Exactly. And they're doing it strategically by acquiring a company with existing capabilities that they can adapt and enhance to meet the demands of the EV market.
So instead of starting from scratch, they're leveraging Birla Tires' existing infrastructure and expertise to jumpstart their entry into the EV tire market.
It's a calculated risk, but it's potentially a high-reward strategy.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense. They're diversifying, innovating, and strategically positioning themselves for future growth in high-potential markets, like EV tires and battery technology.
And they're doing it all while upholding their commitment to sustainable practices. It's a compelling story, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. But it's also a story that raises some interesting questions.
Oh, I love a good question. What are you thinking?
Well, we've talked about how HSCL is investing like heavily in battery technology, but will those investments actually pay off? I mean, the battery technology market is still, relatively new and constantly evolving. There are no guarantees of success.
You're right. This is a valid question. There are a lot of unknowns. There are technological hurdles to overcome, intense competition from well-established players, and we're still figuring out how quickly electric vehicles and renewable energy solutions will be adopted on a large scale.
So given all that uncertainty, how can HSCL mitigate the risks and ensure they see a return on their investments?
Their multi-pronged approach to innovation is a good starting point. They're acquiring, cutting-edge technology through companies like Sakona and Invati. They're developing their own R&D capabilities, and they're exploring new frontiers with AI. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
So they're diversifying their bets and hedging their risks, which makes sense in a market as volatile as this one. But it's not just about having the technology, right? They need to be able to execute their plans effectively.
Exactly. They need to integrate their acquisitions seamlessly, manage their growing portfolio of ventures, and bring new products to market efficiently. They've shown strong execution capabilities so far, but scaling up these new ventures will be a big test.
It's a whole new level of complexity. And here's another thing that's been on my mind. HSCL is traditionally a business-to-business company, but with the acquisition of Burla Tires, they're stepping into the business-to-consumer market.
That's a significant shift in their business model. Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame.
Exactly. Can they really make that transition and build a strong brand presence in the consumer market?
It's not going to be easy. B2C marketing requires a different approach. They'll need to build brand awareness among consumers, figure out what their value proposition is, and establish a robust distribution network.
And all of this in a market that's already, crowded with established tire brands. It's a challenge, but it's also a huge opportunity.
Absolutely. If they can crack the B2C market, it could open up a whole new avenue for growth and revenue. It would diversify their revenue streams, making them less dependent on the ups and downs of the B2B market.
It's a gamble, but a calculated one. And it speaks to their ambition and their willingness to take risks.
It does. They're not content with just playing it safe. They want to grow, and they're willing to push boundaries to do it.
So we've identified some key challenges and opportunities, but what's the big takeaway here? What's the question we should all be asking about HSCL?
Can HSCL truly transform itself from a specialty chemicals company into a diversified conglomerate that has a strong foothold in these high-growth markets? Think battery technology, consumer goods, and even sustainable mobility with their venture into EV tires.
Can they really become a global leader in sustainable solutions? It's a bold vision.
It is. Only time will tell if they can achieve it. But what's clear is that they're not afraid to, dream big, take risks, and forge their own path.
They're constantly evolving, adapting, and innovating. They're not just reacting to market trends, they're actively shaping the future.
And that's what makes HSCL so fascinating to follow. Their story is still unfolding, and it's a story worth paying attention to.
So whether you're an investor, a consumer, or just someone who cares about the future of our planet, keep your eye on HSCL.
Their journey is just beginning, and who knows what they'll achieve next.
That wraps up our deep dive into HSCL. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's always more to explore.
We encourage you to dig deeper into their reports, presentations, and sustainability initiatives. And stay tuned for future updates as their story continues to unfold.
We'll be here to help you make sense of it all. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.